I'm Phil from PC Gamer, and this is an exclusive look at Homestead, the new player housing feature arriving in Guild Wars 2's next expansion, Janthir Wilds. Your home will exist as its own instance rather than being one of a limited number of plots in a larger district, so unlike a game like Final Fantasy XIV, you won't get the same neighbourhood feel, but the benefits should be pretty obvious. You don't have to...
Who needs neighbors?
ArenaNet
they steal your tools.
About the story of the
they
new
take your milk.
For this playtest, ArenaNet provided me with a preview account full of characters, all of them named after members of the PC Gamer team. Here they are now, just hanging out.
Huh? They're just NPCs hanging out, dancing around in your homestead? Oh, those are your alts? I hope we don't... I hope we can stop them from dancing.
So you leave your homestead. Well, your mounts are here too. You can find them resting over...
Wait a minute! What if you have like 90 characters? Because there are people out there that have tons and tons of characters. You have to choose them?
Because let's be honest, how often are you
your mounts
using it in the game? And you can pet the mounts. It's pretty cute. If you hop on a mount.
So there's a mount stable, that's cool.
Even if an alt was sitting on it. Over in this building, you will find the crafting bench that lets you create new decorations to customize your home.
Do you need a crafting job to interact with this thing?
Completely separate system from the scribing profession used to decorate guild halls, but the benefit of that is it's going to be a lot cheaper to craft items. Homestead crafting won't be tied to crafting XP at all. Instead, you'll unlock more advanced levels through the mastery system by earning experience in the expansion.
Oh, so it's tied to the mastery.
300 decorative items will be available when Janthir Wilds launches, with ArenaNet saying more will be added through festivals and quarterly updates to follow. In total, there should be around 800 decorations that will be craftable by the end of the expansion's update.
By the end of the expansion, okay, wow.
In-game,
nice.
Although, yes, some will be exclusive to the Black Lion Gem Store. ArenaNet stresses
Wait a minute, whoa, hold on.
Of the expansion's update cycle.
Bro.
The majority of these will be earned in game, although yes,
you can scale them
to the Black Lion
and you can
Gem
move them
Store.
like that.
Stressed to me.
That is, for those who have played Final Fantasy XIV and have played around with the mod called Burn Down the House, this is exactly how this works. Well, similarly, it's very, very similar to how that works. The only difference is that you can scale the items. Burn Down the House doesn't let you scale the items for obvious reasons.
Which has been created from lots of individual pieces all fitted together.
Whoa, even the lighthouse is buildable? Wait, so you can make entire buildings for your entire home area?
That's way too big. You've got some options.
You're not restricted to just the one building?
Multiple skills on the menu that let you...
VB, you notice how he made all those houses go back?
To a homestead that one of the developers had already started.
Every single one of these? This should be a guild hall. Because now you can make rooms for your guildies.
Built from various floor tiles that have been repurposed as walls and roofing. The same with this lighthouse, which has been created from lots of individual pieces all fitted together. Now when you go to place a piece,
that's interesting.
Realize, oh God,
that's great.
That's way too big. You've got some options to...
You can scale it down, right?
There's multiple skills on the menu that let you change the position, the rotation, the scale of the item.
You can rotate it too.
Decorations can even be moved into the ground or into the air or into each
and you can make them clip. Okay.
You can make it fit your
nice.
needs. It's a pretty robust set of tools. You can even realign the pop-up arrows to be pointed at the map's global X and Y axis or locally. If you just need a different perspective while you're creating, just turn into a bee and fly around. I'm not the type of person who's going to go deep on creating some grand elaborate build, but even so, I had a lot of fun just messing around with the tools. Guild Wars 2's world map has expanded a lot over the last decade, so there's already a pretty broad set of decorations available. It's multiple regions and aesthetics. Naturally, if you're going to show off your collection, you'll need to invite your friends along, and while they're there, if you trust them, you can let them decorate your homestead too. There's a special permission in the menu that turns on group decorating.
Okay, all right.
It does mean that they'll have
just like Final Fantasy
and can just place and modify things around
Smart.
the map. Overall,
I bet this will open up, opportunities for people to make new. There are new ways to make money, not real money. Gold. There you go. New ways to make gold in this game, and that's through charging or tipping people for decorating your house That's what people do in Final Fantasy.
Impressed with what I've seen. Player housing is one of the bigger features on.
Because there are people like myself who are just really bad at decorating, and they'll just hire someone else to like, hey, can you decorate for me?
It's certainly a huge improvement.
Here's some gold
in the game. Although, if you are a guild decorator looking on in Envy, ArenaNet did say that the new decoration skills and placement options are going to be ported over to guild halls too.
Nice, very very nice. All right, I am. My concerns are, for the most part, alleviated after watching the system in action. A lot of the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom powers are just dev tools, so it looks like Guild Wars 2 is learning by giving us one too. I feel like, I mean, you're probably right about that, but like if you look up a video of the burn down the house mod for the Final Fantasy game, it looks incredibly similar, the way this looks. I don't know if it's a dev kit thing. Maybe that's why it looks similar. Maybe it's just a dev tool thing. But if not, I suspect that Guild Wars might be learning from other MMOs as well. Hell yeah. I want to make like I don't know, I want to try my hand at making, some sort of cafe. Or maybe, a building with a club-like atmosphere, maybe. Oh my god. Making some really... People are going to be able to make some really interesting PvP arenas. Yeah, they're about to go nuts. Beetle tracks, Griffin tracks, or courses, rather. Arenas. I'm not really interested in housing, but now that I can build memes, I'm hyped. Great! That is a tremendous bulge, sir. I don't know if that's TOS friendly. That is like sitting on the cusp of TOS. Jeez.
And his name is John C.
Thanks to someone else doing a bit of data mining, I was told the one thing that can get you back into Final Fantasy XIV for Dawn Trail. What? Oh, don't you worry. I'll play Dawn Trail. I know it seems like I quit the game, but I did not. It's just I really only play Final Fantasy XIV for the story now.
Oh my.
We just got Guild Wars 2 swimsuits. He's already distracted. True! We finally got swimsuits. It took us like what? 11 years? 12 years? We're also getting housing, by the way. Guild Wars 2 is finally getting housing in the next expansion on August. And the housing decoration system looks really good. Honestly, Guild Wars 2 housing is gonna be a lot better than Final Fantasy XIV's housing. That said, the amount of decorative items is gonna be very scarce, compared to 14. But that's only because 14, has had housing since the beginning. So they have like 10 years worth of housing cosmetics. I think Genshin Impact beats every game in terms of housing decorations. Are you kidding me? No, I strongly disagree. Even Final Fantasy XIV has a better decorating system than Genshin Impact. Even Sims 4 has a better decorating system. Guild Wars 2 about to become the top dog in not just mounts, but housing? Potentially. Yeah, potentially. And like what gives Guild Wars 2 such a very, very strong advantage is that your house is not going to be held for ransom like Final Fantasy XIV does. Final Fantasy XIV gets rid of your house if you're not subscribed to the game for 3 months, which is really scummy. And it also doesn't have a house lottery system in order to get a plot for your house, which is also really bad and stupid. Guild Wars 2 still doesn't have horses. I mean, they have half horses.
I could outrun a centaur.
No, we can't. Any system where they hold your stuff hostage is not better than anything. I mean, like, it is what it is. People like to make excuses like, oh, this helps them make money. You gotta support the developers. It's like, you can still support them and not feel like you're gonna lose everything if you take a break from the game. Thankfully, they don't take away your apartment, though. So at least there's that. For Dawn Trail, though, I plan on playing it on August. let people play it themselves, so that way, they don't have to worry about spoilers when they eventually see me play it. And similarly with Janthir Wilds, I'm gonna give people a week. I'm gonna give people a week to go through Janthir Wilds before I play that.
That's not enough to build my house before I move on the story.
You mean you're not gonna do the story before you make your house? Wow, you got your priorities straight. $12.99 is the cheapest house rent I have ever paid. It's virtual house rent. That's despicable. I don't like that we're calling it house rent, but I guess that's what it is. It's rent for, virtual pixels that you're not making use of whenever you want to take a break from the game. They make the majority of their money through the RP community in Final Fantasy XIV, and they're very big on housing. So yeah, they're gonna completely milk them. Yeah, I'm not willing to do that for every 45 days. Hell to no. If I'm paying money and if I'm not playing the game, then it's wasted money. If you're taking that long a break, what do you need a house for? For nostalgia, to put up, just to have a house, really. Sometimes it's fun to express yourself. Like, I'm glad I still have my apartment in Final Fantasy XIV. I have that decorated. I made it into a cozy pad. It has a stage. It has a nice little bedroom. It has a little jacuzzi. It would be a shame if I had lose that if I'd taken a break for a year. Now imagine if that was in a house instead of an apartment. No, that's a big feels bad.
If you take a break from the game, you lose all your legendaries.
You guys again? We're on official city business.
I think we're making a mountain over a molehill. We're going to a slippery slope sort of territory. I love when I lose things in video games. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you there. I don't want to lose things in video games. Just because, I've opted to playing once a year, doesn't mean that I am okay with losing things. I still very much, like and am fond of, the things that I have earned in a video game that I play once a year. Hopefully there's, strong enough competition outside of Final Fantasy XIV with housing systems that it'll get Square Enix to take another look at their housing system, because I feel personally that it needs, a drastic overhaul. Not only in, the decorating limits, but also the system and how the decorating works, because technically you're not allowed to mod Final Fantasy XIV. So if you admit to using Burn Down the House, you will get banned for it. But not using Burn Down the House makes decorating feel like an absolute miserable nightmare.
Not enough energy.
So they need to, if they, won't allow mods for that, then they need to revamp, the decorating system themselves. Also, they need to rethink, the acquisition methods for getting a house. I know they've done it once before already. It used to be worse, but the lottery system is not that much better. It's still terrible. And now we have, other games popping up with better housing systems. I like competition. Competition is great. It gets, game companies to get off their asses and start, making improvements that matter. Oh, the Island Sanctuary? I hate the Island Sanctuary. I barely touched that. I played a little bit of that, and I got bored so quick. I'd rather play Stardew Valley. GW2 is going to have to really step it up with their fashion selection if they want to get the Final Fantasy XIV role players. They have been. Have you taken a look at, what they've added for the past 2 years? Fashion's been really freaking good lately. The dye system is amazing, but there's just not enough clothes. I'll give you that. Yeah, the there's not enough, clothing. To be fair, it is a video game first, and a role-playing, sort of environment second. No, third even. Maybe even fourth. Role-playing is not, the prime feature of Guild Wars 2. So, of course, they're going to be more focused on armor, on things that look battle-ready. I mean, it's a video game, of course. That's just the way things are going to be skewed. And that's what I mean, Final Fantasy XIV caters to the RP community, the people who just They cater to the people who like to VR chat, basically. And that's fine. But they don't necessarily need to grab all the role players. As long as they have, you know, good social systems in place and having, you know, a nice, you know, way to express yourself via the housing system, then the role players will come, regardless if they have clothes, you know, or not. I mean, for crying out loud, World of Warcraft, of all games, still has a pretty decently strong role-playing community. And we already know how scarce the clothing is in World of Warcraft. I don't think, you know, that matters too much. You hate the full outfits? I'm not talking about the outfits, I'm talking about armor skins. There are some pretty decent-looking armor skins that you can use, you know, that you can pass as, you know, clothing or whatever. Like, I can show you. Some of my characters have, you know, clothing rather than armor.
Outrun a centaur.
You know, besides the swimsuit, obviously. Besides the swimsuit. Also, who the hell roleplays in a JRPG anyway? They just roleplay in a very different way. When people outside of Final Fantasy XIV think of roleplay, they probably think, you know, D&D. Let's go out on an adventure. Let's walk around in the world, you know, and be adventurers. Not in Final Fantasy XIV. Roleplay means something entirely different to them. What they see roleplay as is just like VR chat, you know, hanging out with people within a club, in a nightclub, or a restaurant, you know, that sort of thing. RPGs aren't for role-playing. Oh, RPGs aren't for role-playing. Ironic. They're about following a fully written on-rails story with predetermined characters and events. That's fine, honestly. I actually... I know you joke, but I'm actually okay with that. As long as the game is good. I don't mind having an on-rails experience as long as that on-rails experience is, you know, a really good ride. Can't even wear glasses with those outfits. Yeah, that is fair. Yeah, you can't, they still have problems. You can't mix and match glasses with helmets or hats. And a lot, like 90% of the hats and helmets in Guild Wars 2 either make your character bald or they completely change up your hairstyle. Yeah, so that's fair. Yeah, that is a massive problem I have with Guild Wars 2 as well. And this is why I don't wear hats and helmets at all in Guild Wars 2, because, you know, it looks awful on the ladies when you put on a helmet or a hat. Final Fantasy XIV, you know, I'll give them credit for that. They actually go out of their way to model every single hairstyle for all their hats and their helmets, except for the Hrothgar. But other than that, you know, they actually put in the effort in, you know, modeling the hair. So props to them on that. The helmet situation, the hat situation in Guild Wars 2 is lame. It sucks. Man, my mouth is pretty dry. You guys had me talking a lot during the meta. I have opinions about, you know, housing in games in general. And now my mouth is tired.
My housing plan is very simple. I'm gonna build a Gundam.
Of course you are. But yeah, I also have strong feelings towards housing in other games, especially in Final Fantasy XIV. And it really frustrates me when the 14 community makes excuses for the devs and for themselves, you know, trying to make it appear like it's all, like, all good and... Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, you guys need to complain more. You need to, like, take this up with Square Enix. You take it up with the devs. They're not perfect. Yes, Yoshi P is a great, you know, game director, but he's not perfect. Please criticize the game more. The game needs to be better.